Number of over 50s experiencing loneliness is on track to hit 2 million by next year. That's up almost 50% in a decade. But there's not just one kind of midlife loneliness. There are 5. And once you know which one applies to you, the fix becomes much easier. As we get older, I find the most common kinds are the shrinking circle and the superficial circle. But to explain the different types, we need a quick bit of theory. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar spent his career studying human relationships. His main finding was that we don't just have one big friend group, we have rings. Most people have an inner circle of maybe 3 to 5 people that they could call in a crisis, and they have a middle ring of around 10 to 15 good friends, and then a wider ring of around 30 to 45 other friends and colleagues. But these rings aren't fixed. People can move between them, in and out, based on one thing mostly: how often you actually show up for each other. That's the lever. Keep that in mind, because 3 of the next 5 types get fixed by working this diagram, not by making new friends. Type 1 is the shrinking circle, and it's the most obvious one. Your circle of friends has just got smaller. Career, kids, moving house. One day you realise the people that you would actually call at 3 a.m. in an emergency are down to 1 or 2, maybe even none. A 2025 survey found 15% of UK men aged 55 to 64 have no close friends at all, the highest of any age group they measured. For women, the peak was aged 45 to 54 at 14%. If this is you, the mistake is thinking that you need new friends. You probably don't. You just need to promote people. Look at your outer rings, the good friends and the acquaintances. You've probably let a few of those drift. So pick 2 or 3 who you think have actually shown signs that they'd move closer if you did. Then just increase contact. But it doesn't have to be dramatic. Dunbar's research shows that closeness tracks almost mechanically with how often we're in touch. Promoting people into a closer ring isn't about finding new people, it's about scheduling time with the ones that you've already got. Type 2 is the superficial circle. Now this one's a bit sneakier. Even if your inner circle looks full on paper, people that you see regularly, that you'd call friends, when something actually goes wrong, there's no one that you can really confide in. So it's not a head count problem, this one is a depth problem. With this one, most of what's sitting in your inner circle is just the day-to-day stuff. It's the people that you see on the school runs, or that you have a work chat with, or a quick catch up when you meet someone in the street. It's not being able to be vulnerable and truthful with anybody. So the fix for this is to pick one person already inside your circle, and you have to go first. I know that feels scary, but if you ask them how they're doing, they're almost certainly going to reply with, "Yeah, I'm fine," or "Yeah, everything's good." So you need to start by sharing something real instead of the usual surface stuff. This matters because it's how closeness actually forms. It's built through reciprocal honesty, with one person risking it and the other one meeting them there. If you make the leap and properly open up to a good friend, you will be amazed at what often comes back. It's like you've opened the floodgates or you're releasing a pressure valve. They are so relieved to have someone that they can properly talk to. And it all happens because you took the first step. One real conversation moves someone from good friend to close friend faster than 10 casual coffee chats ever will. Type 3 is the redundant one, and this one stings a bit. You had a strong network until your circumstances changed. Maybe you got laid off or had a relationship breakup. Whatever it was, the people that you used to see have stopped calling. Here's what can help put this into perspective, and it comes from a brilliant book on this exact subject by Max Dickens called Billy No Mates. A lot of what felt like friendship was actually what Aristotle called utility friendship. The bonds were built on what you could offer each other. Those relationships were never meant to survive a change in your circumstances. And when they fall away, don't think of it as a reflection on you. It's just the friendship reverting to its natural state. The other issue here, particularly for blokes, is that we tend to borrow friendships from our partner. She has a close circle of friends, and their partners kind of become your friends. If you split up, all of those borrowed friends are going to disappear pretty much overnight. The fix for this is to stop grieving these utility friendships and borrowed friendships as if they were real, and look back to the rings for the people who stayed engaged when you had nothing to offer them. Those are the ones worth promoting inwards. Type 4 is the crowded house. This is the type that surprises people most, and I think it's the one that matters most in midlife. It's when you're not alone, you're actually surrounded by people. A partner, kids, a diary full of social stuff, and yet you still feel lonely. How can that be? This one isn't a rings problem at all. It's a relationship problem, and specifically, the relationship you have with yourself. If you've drifted away from being genuinely true to who you are, which often happens in midlife, playing a role for so long that you've lost track of the person behind the mask, the people around you can't see the real you. It's not because they've stopped looking, it's because you've stopped showing them. And there's research to back this up. Dunbar's own work on men in midlife found many of them rely almost entirely on their partners to run their entire social life and get those borrowed friends, which hollows out both the friendships and your sense of self underneath. So here, the fix doesn't start with other people. It starts with having an honest conversation with yourself. Where in your life have you been performing rather than being real? That's what you've got to look at before moving people between rings is going to mean anything. If that's you, it may be something you need to reflect on for a while, or maybe even talk through with someone. It's the sort of thing I work on with my coaching clients all the time, and if that's of interest, you'll find a link in the description. Type 5, I call banter without the bonding, and we're back to Max Dickens for this one. This is specifically the male friendship trap. Plenty of mates, 5-a-side at the pub, who's in the group chat, and none of them knows what's actually going on with you. Around 1 in 5 UK men report having no close friends, roughly double the rate for women. Dickens' point is that most men's social lives are stacked entirely with what Aristotle called pleasure friendships. Good company, but shallow. The friendship exists because of some kind of shared activity. You don't have any of what he called virtue friendships. These are the people that you can comfortably sit in silence with on a long drive or over a drink. What marks out a virtue friendship from the other two kinds is that it's not based on mutual benefit or shared enjoyment. The person genuinely likes being friends with you because of you, your character. What also marks out virtue friendships is that they tend to endure, often for a lifetime. So you've almost certainly got virtue friends, probably going back to your school days or uni mates. You just may have lost touch with them. The fix for this seems obvious. Reconnect with them. But you might feel guilty that you've let things slip. There is no need to worry. These are the friendships that when you get back in touch, it's like picking up again where you left off 20 years ago. Here are 2 things to help you get reconnected. First, don't make any excuses. Just say something like, I was thinking about our friendship and I know it's been a while, but I'd love to reconnect. And the second is acknowledge the gap, but don't feel guilty about it. Try something like, I'm sorry I've left so much time pass without speaking, but I'd really like to change that. I had a coaching client a while ago who wanted to reconnect with some old friends, and he carved out a few minutes in the evening, every now and again, to send a couple of texts to people that he'd lost touch with. He was amazed at how easily he reconnected and how much fun it was to catch up with them. So there you go, 5 types of midlife loneliness. But notice 4 of them are solved by the rings. who's in them, and whether you're promoting people inwards. The other one, the crowded house, is solved by something else entirely. It's about rebuilding the relationship you have with yourself, being more authentic around the people who matter most to you. In fact, I think I'm going to do a video just on that one. So if you want to get an update on when that's available, hit the subscribe button. If you've recognized yourself in one of these, tell me which one in the comments. Working with midlifers on this kind of thing is exactly the sort of thing I do. There are links below if you want to find out more information. If you want more ideas on how to deal with some of midlife's challenges, try this video next. Thanks for watching.